Hi, I'm Bjorn, movie archaeologist, and this is a little bit awkward. Welcome back to the Temple of Movie Reviews, guys. Yeah, this is a coincidence, I swear. I've always dressed like this, guys. I'm not, I didn't plan this, alright? This isn't, I was doing it before it was cool, alright? I'm not a poser, guys, alright? Now, did I show up to the premiere dressed like this? Maybe. I may have done that. But that doesn't mean I'm a fanboy, alright? Well, that's not true, because I am... Oh! Dog interruption. Hi, Ash. It's been a minute, huh? You got skunked last night and wrecked the whole house. Didn't you? Yeah, that guilty look is a yes. The artifact I discovered deep in the temple today is a little movie called Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. This is the 5th installment in the Indiana Jones franchise and features Harrison Ford as a decrepit corpse. Okay, that's mean, guys. It features Harrison Ford with a CGI face. Well, that is true, actually. It features Harrison Ford, who hasn't skipped a beat. He's still pretty good in these movies. I really liked Harrison Ford in this, and overall, this might surprise some of you given the shit that's come out about this movie. I'm mostly positive. I enjoyed this movie. Is it as good as the original 3 Indiana Jones movies? Let's just get this out of the way. No. Is it better than Kingdom of the Crystal Skull? By a mile. Yeah, I far prefer this to Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. This movie is actually fun, for the most part, unlike Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Now, does it suffer from an overuse of CGI? Absolutely, yeah. And is the action as good as the original 3? No, but it's still pretty solid. I think given the hand they're dealt with here, old Harrison Ford, sequel everyone hates, I think they did about as good as you can do. They take some interesting angles with this movie. I'm going to go spoiler-free, but I don't think it's much of a spoiler to say that Indiana Jones is very old in this movie. He's a pretty sad guy. He's sort of a fossil. He's the sort of person that has been left in the past. He's not nearly as, cool as he used to be. He's not as well respected as he used to be, and the world has sort of moved on from Indiana Jones. And I think the movie explores that in a kind of interesting way. Now, I think the theme kind of falls apart a little bit before coming back around in a way that I almost find interesting. They're really close to something kind of cool there as far as the thematic choice with the movie. I don't quite land it, but I appreciate the effort. There's something here, right? They're really trying. The female character, Phoebe Waller-Bridges, I think that's her name's character. Lots of shit spread around about this character before the movie came out. I followed it because I'm a big Indiana Jones shill. It might shock you guys to know that movie archaeologist Bjorn likes Indiana Jones, but I heard a lot of shit about this movie and about things that were going to happen in it and about some of the stuff that was in it. And I can say that I've seen the movie. None of that shit is in the movie. Nothing about Harrison Ford being erased. All that other shit that was spread about this movie. It's just a falsehood. It's not in the movie. I don't know where that shit came from. This character, whose name escapes me, the Waller-Bridges character, she has nothing. She's not supposed to be Indiana Jones' female replacement. She's extremely different from him. I didn't get any of that vibe. All that fucking fear-mongering before the movie, that went nowhere in my opinion. Is she a competent female character? Yes. Does she fight some people? Yeah. So did Miriam in the original one, so I don't really find that to be a criticism. I actually find her to be very interesting as opposed to Indiana Jones because she isn't really a good guy. All throughout this movie, she's just kind of a bad person, and I think that they actually explore that in a really interesting way. She's a bad person who, from the trailers we know, is Indiana Jones's goddaughter, so he's kind of stuck with her despite the fact that she's not really who he would call the sort of person he would normally interact with. And I find that to be an interesting arrangement. The character I could have done without is the short round copy. I just didn't get much out of him. They had an obvious Chekhov gun in the beginning of the movie, and they obviously pay it off with him at the end. And the character just, I don't know why he's here, because Short Round was liked, and Short Round's in the movie. If I had gone and done this movie, personally, I would have included Short Round. I think Ke Huy Quan is very well liked now. I don't think the filmmakers were banking on that. That was sort of a surprise while they were in production. But boy, what a missed opportunity to have Short Round come back. I wouldn't have even hated Short Round taking the Indiana Jones mantle and doing some more adventures, because I just like adventure films. I wish they would come back in a big way. Uncharted wasn't it. This is much better than that. And I will briefly touch on some spoilers near the end of the movie. Very briefly. And I'll mark them very loudly. So if you want to hear my thoughts on like the full picture, spoilers and all, I'm going to get to that in a little bit. But in an unspoiler way, I will say the third act of this movie takes a huge swing. I mean, they really go for the fences in the sort of way that Kingdom of the Crystal Skull also tries to do. Unlike Kingdom of the Crystal Skull here, I think they hit the ball. I don't know if it's really a home run, but it's in the ballpark, and it goes pretty far. They take a wacky swing with this movie's finale, and it is wacky. It is. I saw some reviews that were negative on it, and having seen the movie, I like wacky shit, guys. You know me. You know the sort of things I like. I like really out there, bizarre takes. I like people willing to do some things. I've seen a lot of people saying that this movie plays it safe, and yeah, in some ways it does, but gotta give it to that third act. It does not play it safe. It goes for something crazy, and it worked for me. It was very bizarre, and I liked it. That's all I'll say about that until the spoiler section. So, other things. Antonio Banderas is in this movie. I like Antonio Banderas. I like him, although every time he spoke a word of dialogue, all I could hear was Puss in Boots. Harrison Ford, obviously he's good in this movie. He puts a very different take on Indy. The opening 20 minutes of the movie, in as vague a way as possible, is a throwback to Indiana Jones's old sort of aesthetic. It features Indy trying to steal an artifact from the Nazis in the near the end of the war, and that's all I'll say. It does feature CGI de-aged Indiana Jones, and this has been quite the debate. Is the CGI de-aging of Harrison Ford competent or not? And I mean, it's impressive, I guess, that they were able to do it for 20, 30 minutes of the movie, but I wouldn't say it necessarily looks great. I think Uncanny Valley is strong with this one. There's some moments where it feels fine, and then Harrison Ford talks, and he sounds like his older, raspier voice. And there's other moments where they have lines of dialogue where he sounds better, where I guess they maybe digitally smoothed out some of his dialogue. But for the most part, I didn't buy that it was really Indiana Jones in the past. That being said, the sequence is a blast, and it's definitely a good throwback to the old G. Really, this movie felt like it was trying to be extremely reverent to the original films, sometimes to its detriment. And I'm a fan of the original movies, so when they call back and they do the nostalgia thing and they make more Indiana Jones, I enjoy it. I'm human, guys. I can see that some people will probably see this movie and not like it. That won't surprise me. But I enjoyed the movie a lot. I liked it. I'm a shill. What can I say? Disney didn't pay me, though. I just enjoy this movie. The people giving it a 40% on Rotten Tomatoes, the people rating this so low, I can't help but feel like they're disingenuous. This movie, I mean, sure, it ain't Raiders of the Lost Ark, but it sure as hell ain't Crystal Skull, and it sure as hell ain't a 30% movie. I think this is one the critics missed on. Obviously, the Rotten Tomatoes score is going up. And I feel like this movie might play better than people think. I think the older generations are going to like this movie, people who grew up with Indiana Jones. I know I went and saw this with my mom. I took her out on a nice evening because she is a huge fan of Indiana Jones, grew up with the character, came out, I think, well, she said she was in high school maybe, I don't know. But she loved the movie, and she said it reminded her of the old Indiana Jones movies, and that, I think, is the demographic. Now, I'm not one to take a guess at box office. I tend to be wrong. I'm curious to see if this movie does a Top Gun Maverick. I feel like this movie might connect with a generation that doesn't often go to the movies in the way that Top Gun Maverick did. I don't think it's going to do nearly that well, but I don't think this movie is going to flop nearly as bad as they think it will. We'll see. I've been wrong before. So briefly to talk about spoilers now. I'm throwing up my spoiler banner. This is spoilers. This is it. The movie doesn't come out till tomorrow, guys. So if you haven't seen it, do not watch this, because I actually think this movie goes in a very bizarre direction that I very much like, and I don't think you should be spoiled for it. All right, I warned you. Okay, all those fucking leakers that said this movie was gonna like have a finale in the 1940s and Harrison Ford was gonna meet older Harrison Ford was gonna meet younger Harrison Ford. You people were lying through your fucking teeth, because instead of doing the obvious thing and going to 1939 or whatever, this movie swings through the fucking fences and goes back 2,000 years to ancient Rome. And what a bizarre choice that was. I just Loved it. It was cheesy, it was goofy as shit, and I loved it. I just liked that angle. I was worried he was going to jump the shark before they went back in time. But it doesn't jump the shark. It jumps the shark, turns back around, and then rides the shark into a really fucking silly finale. But the movie sort of knows it's silly. It seems to lean into it a little bit, and they just have fun with it. Harrison Ford is clearly enjoying where they take the character. They tie back the original arc I mentioned of Harrison Ford sort of being a relic of the past by giving him the opportunity to sort of just wallow in his own pity in the past. That's sort of what I thought the choice was being presented to him. He can continue to be a loner and do what he's always done and explore the past, right? But the movie says that there's a potential better ending for Indiana Jones than, that. And they let him go back and get back together with Miriam, and it's sappy shit, guys, but I like it. I'm a sucker, all right? And I just think it worked. I just liked it. I don't know. I like the bit where she does his little hat trick and punches him in the face. It's a cute callback. All in all, this movie does so many things that Kingdom of the Crystal Skull attempted. It adds sci-fi elements to Indiana Jones. It adds a childish character who is someone Indy's related to. But this movie does it better than Crystal Skull. It just knocks it out of the park. It presents an older Indy, but does it better. It's basically just, what it is just Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, but it's a better version of it. And I liked it. I'm torn between this movie. I like it, but I'm a sucker for the Indiana Jones character. So I'm going to go see this again. I'm going to give it a tentative 7 or 8, and I will update on my Discord, which y'all can join, link below, with a more suitable, accurate score, depending on how I feel about it. Maybe I'll even drop it lower, who can say. But yeah, I enjoyed this movie. I don't care what anyone else thinks about it. I had fun with it, and I think that's all that really matters. Alright, thanks for watching. If y'all are looking for something else, I'm writing a Harry Potter murder mystery. If you think my opinion on this movie is bad, go watch that and then insult my writing there. I'm doing what most people don't do, and I'm trying to write something else. Other reviews here so you can mock my other opinions too. Hey, if you do want to mock my opinion, make sure you do it in the comments to get me engagement. I will reply to you, so have at it. And for people who keep up with my channel, I found a little artifact down in the temple here. This is for the upcoming show Bargain Bin Bullshit. This is the bargain bin which I have discovered down there. This is the movie we're doing for our first episode. It's one of these, or all of them, because that's how the show works. So, God help me, I watch these. So y'all can speculate endlessly about my opinions on these. If the show will be terrible or not, who can say? Like and subscribe, and I'm going to go explore the temple. Something, Mission Impossible, I saw it yesterday. Review coming whenever I can. Adios.